Implementing this simple golf tip has transformed how I play some of the most important shots in golf. Hi everyone, my name is James Robinson. Welcome back to Get Good at Golf. On this channel, we aim to help you get good at golf Monday right through to Friday. Guys, if you want bonus content, if you want giveaways, if you want meetups in the summer months, make sure you do check out our membership Sunday Club. That's where you can get all that, guys. It's in the description below, so check it out if that's what you do want. But today I am talking about a technique which I've changed in my game that has transformed how confident I am on and around the golf course for shots like that. You can see that is pretty much a gimme unless you are playing with Chris, who would make you hold that. But I see so many people who get shots like that wrong, and it's such a simple fix to make sure you can start lowering your scores by getting up and down a lot more of the time. You see, guys, here at Get Good at Golf, we know full well that short game doesn't sell. It's not sexy and nobody really wants to improve on it that much. And I know that last one is a lie, but I also know people would rather go to the driving range and try and hit the driver 10 yards further. But if you can do this, I guarantee you will lower your scores. And one of the things which I see that people get so confused about on short game is weight distribution, weight transfer, and how much loft to use around the green. So this is a pretty simple shot. I've got a lot of green to work with, and I've got a sand wedge here. Now, this is totally up to what you're confident with and what your favourite club around the greens is. But what's not down to your discretion is your setup and how you attack this shot. You see, I've got a 56 degree here, that's my favourite club, but I know if I get all the pre-swing things correct, then I can make a nice easy shot. So I'm going to make sure that I'm leaning ever so slightly to my left side here, and all I'm trying to do is drop that club onto the ball. So I'm using gravity there. I know exactly what ball flight is going to come out because I know how much dynamic loft I am creating to the ball. And what I'm not doing is leaning back and trying to force that ball up into the air, because that is exactly what happens, and that's what we see so many golfers do around the world. The alternative to that is people say, yes, James, I know I need to get onto my left side. I need to lean 90% of my weight on my left foot. Now, yes, you do need to be on your left side. We're actually going to talk through in this video how when you maybe don't need to be on your left side as much. But if I'm too far here, then the angle of attack gets steep, and that's when you have that one and you duff it. That's the one that we see a lot in winter, because people are told you need to get on your left side, you need that handle leaning forward. But what that actually does is it makes this leading edge a lot sharper. So that then digs into the turf, especially if the turf is moist, and that's not exactly what you want. We actually want to use this. This is the sole of the club, this is the bounce of the club, and this is the element which is going to help you get up and down more and generally help you lower your scores. So guys, you see, if I want to play a slightly higher shot, I wouldn't do it here because there's no need to, but say if you have a bunker to go over, me and Chris have devised a little method here where I'm actually going to stand at what feels like a little bit more 50-50. So half my weight on my left, half my weight on my right, and then from there I feel like I'm going to deliver more dynamic loft by a slightly shallower angle of attack. So you can see how that ball popped up into the air there rather than was driven forward. That's two totally different shots with exactly the same club. All I've done realistically is change my amount of weight transfer, but one thing I'm definitely not going to do is lean back and try and throw the loft at that club, because that's when you hit an absolute horror show, and that's when you start dropping shots left, right and centre. Guys, I think here the percentage play is probably to use a little bit less loft, and that's exactly what Chris is going to talk you through right now.
So guys, when we're talking about this kind of shot and we talk about a chip and run, a lot of people instantly go to something like an 8-iron or a 7-iron, and all I see them do from there is get good contact, but it comes off too high. It goes too far, it goes straight over the green, and then from there we've got another chip shot. So you can use something such as a pitching wedge. If you also, again, in your wedges, you might use your 50, your 52. We can get the we can get
dynamic loft.
We can get the desired flight. We can get the desired flight from using something such as a wedge. So what we need to do is obviously make a little bit of changes at setup. So like James said, we're going to think about now it's a little bit more 50-50 instead of getting ahead of the golf ball. Again, once people get weight left, because you're always told short game, everything left, that club, a lot of the times, like James showed us, is being dragged here. And what happens there is actually the club is being dragged up away from the ground. So we're going to thin that a lot, and then what we start to see is once we've hit a few thins, then what we instantly do is go, right, what I'll do is I'll get my wrist a little bit more into it, and I'm going to start to catch the ground a long way before the golf ball. So we've got to think, we want to have a little bit of release, because a lot of golfers actually go into this position where they lock the wrist and they start to thin the ball. We want to feel like there's a little bit more release, but it's with a turning body. So even on this shot, I'm going to release the club head, even though it'll come out low and it'll still run towards the target. So I'm going to go a little bit further back in my stance here with this. As a result of it being a little bit back, I'm going to open my feet, and from there we're still going to feel like it's 50-50, but if I now let this club just turn through, you'll see that launched a lot lower and has ran out nicely. It's gone to around about 4 or 5 feet, so nice and easy there. That's a pitching wedge, but it's still come out very low and it's landed just on the green. You'll see if I now change to an 8 iron, it is going to be the same setup. It's a little bit back in the stance, I'm a little bit open because it's back, but you see here, if I make the same kind of motion, that's come off much faster, and that's running down past that golf ball. It is a little bit of a downslope after, but you can see how fast that came off. It was a great strike.
Ooh, Christopher.
For a change for myself. It was a great strike, but it's come off too fast. So you've got to think there, guys, what we see from a lot of golfers is it starts to get very tense. So we start to grip it a little bit tighter, we feel like it's got to be very short, and we start to see that kind of motion, a flicky motion, a very quick, a very jerky motion, whereas with something like a pitching wedge, I can go a little bit longer and smoother, and I can control my loft better, and I can control how it is going to roll, and that is the main thing there. But with setup, I'm not going to go all the way left, because if I go all the way left, we'd get no kind of launch. It'd probably bounce into here and we'd be struggling again.
One thing I'd like to say as well is the amount of bounce on a specific wedge here is quite a lot more than on this 8 iron. So if you are thinking about which different shots to play and you're not quite comfortable on the strike, the wedge is probably going to be the easier one to strike because of that amount of bounce, or even go to a 7 wood or a hybrid with infinite bounce.
Exactly, that's another shot that you could play, a little bit difficult in the winter, but coming into the summer, that's a shot you need to practice and have there just in case you lose a little bit of confidence. A 7 wood or a hybrid is a great option.
So guys, the shot I played earlier did go through into this bunker, so it'd be rude not to show you how to get out of it by using this technique. So we spoke about weight transfer. The great thing about in a bunker is I can just draw myself a visual aid for that ball position. So the ball position is going to be nice and far forward. A lot of people think here, well James, I'm going to try and get this ball out. I need to lean back, present loft to it, and you can see how that comes rolling straight back down to my feet. That's not what we want out of the bunker. We want a little bit of weight just to the left. If I can get that back in line with my line, I'm actually going to have the handle in line with the line I've drawn in the sand there. I'm not going to have any forward shaft lean because, just like I mentioned earlier, I don't want that leading edge to dig into the sand or the turf. So weight slightly left, a nice kind of flat shaft angle there, and release that club through. My bunker play has been rather ridiculous over the last few weeks, but that really does take the biscuit. Guys, if you can have a short game that you rely on, it actually takes a lot of pressure away from shots off the tee and in the fairway. Guys, thank you so much for watching. That has been another episode of Get Good at Golf. We'll see you all, just wait for the flag, same time tomorrow. One more, Chris, get in.
One more, come on.
Too much.